Imagine you're looking at a table. It seems solid, brown, and smooth. But move an inch to the left, and the color shifts. Lean in closer, and the texture changes. Dim the lights, and the object transforms again. Bertrand Russell begins the problems of philosophy with this humble table, and uses it to ask a disturbing question. If everything we see changes the moment we move, what are we actually seeing? Appearance or reality? In 1912, Russell published a small book with a big ambition, to map the limits of human knowledge. His starting point is unsettlingly simple. The world we think we know may be built on unstable foundations. The table's color depends on the light, its shape depends on your angle, its feel depends on your fingers. These ever-shifting impressions are what Russell calls sense data, the raw ingredients of experience, patches of color, textures, sound, and warmth. But the real table, the object we believe exists behind those impressions, is something different entirely. It's not given, it's inferred. So Russell asks, do we ever know the world itself, or only the private movie playing inside our minds? To rebuild knowledge from the ground up, Russell introduces a powerful idea: knowledge by acquaintance. This is the most basic, non-negotiable kind of knowing. It's not learned, it's not argued for, it's immediate. You are acquainted with the patch of white you see, you are acquainted with the feeling of pain, you are acquainted even with abstract universals like whiteness or similarity. For Russell, this is the bedrock. Whatever else can be doubted, this immediate awareness cannot. Acquaintance is the foundation of all other knowledge, the givens we can't dig beneath. But here's the twist. Almost everything you think you know is not known by acquaintance. You've never been directly acquainted with Paris, electrons, your great-great-grandparents, or even the real table behind your own sense data. All of that is known by description. You know Paris as the city in France I've heard about. You know electrons as the entities described in science books. You know the table as the physical object that causes these visual and tactile sensations. Descriptions depend on acquaintance at some point. They trace back eventually to the raw data of experience, but they extend far beyond it. Russell was a foundationalist. Everything built on knowledge must be anchored to something we know directly. Russell then distinguishes knowing things from knowing truths. Truths come in two flavors: a priori truths, like simple logical principles or basic math. These don't depend on particular experiences. Empirical truths, which are based on reason and are often supported by induction. But here's the problem. Induction, which is predicting the future based on the past, can never guarantee certainty. The sun has risen every day so far, but that doesn't prove it must rise tomorrow. So Russell argues that absolute certainty is rare, but probability, structured, rational, evidence-based probability, is enough for science, daily life, and human progress. Russell's message is surprisingly humble. Philosophy won't give you unshakable certainty, but it will give you something else, something far more valuable. It reveals the hidden assumptions behind everyday thinking. It exposes where your confidence is justified and where it isn't. It expands your sense of possible and frees you from dogmatic certainty. Russell's table teaches us the same lesson as his book. The world is stranger, subtler, and more laid out than it first appears. And philosophy is the art of navigating that strangeness, not by pretending we know everything, but by understanding what we can know, and how fragile even that knowledge can be.